welcome to Tales of Honor Podcast, a podcast dedicated to telling the true stories of the Congressional Medal of Honor. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Tales of Honor Podcast. I'm your host, Christoph Ambrosch. That's me. I'm the one behind the mic twice a week, every Sunday and Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And this is our ongoing series of Global War on Terrorism Medal of Honor recipients that will be coming to an end after this next episode. This is our second to last one. A little bit of bittersweet for this little series, but that's okay. There are plenty of other tales to tell, and we're going to get to them. Tonight's episode is a little bit of a unique one. It's going to bring us back to Afghanistan, and it's actually going to bring us back to an episode that we already had, the same battle, and you'll find out when we start telling it. It's going to come full circle. We mentioned this episode would come, and today is that day. So it's episode 41, and it's being brought to you by The Bearded Detailer. Visit thebeardeddetailer.com for all of your automotive detailing solutions, and be sure to use promo code TOH10. So that's going to give you 10% off your order. And what that also does is that tells the Bearded Detailer, full disclosure, that's me, that 75% of the profit from that order is going to be sent to the Congressional Medal of Honor Society, as I do every single month. The Bearded Detailer, where your dirt is his business. And now, a tale of honor. William D Swenson was born on the 2nd of November, 1978. And because he is one of two Medal of Honor recipients still serving on active duty today, some personal information has been kept quiet. What is known is that he graduated from Seattle University with a Bachelor of Science degree in Political Science and joined the U.S. Army in 2002, becoming commissioned in September of that year. William attended and completed basic and advanced infantry officer courses, Ranger School, and Airborne School, and deployed to the Middle East 3 times. Once in support of Operation Iraqi Freedom, and twice in support of Operation Enduring Freedom. Now, for those who have been listening to the podcast, you'll recognize William's name from episode 31 when we talked about Dakota Meyer's actions during the Battle of Ganjgal. For those that didn't catch that episode, I suggest you listen to it after this one is done, because in this episode I will talk about William's actions on the 8th of September 2009. He was part of an operation to connect the Afghan government with native elders in eastern Kunar province. The citation reads, "For conspicuous gallantry and intrepidity at the risk of his life above and beyond the call of duty, Captain William D Swenson distinguished himself by acts of gallantry and intrepidity at the risk of his life above and beyond the call of duty while serving as embedded advisor to the Afghan National Border Police, Task Force Phoenix, Combined Security Transition Command, Afghanistan, in support of 1st Battalion, 32nd Infantry Regiment, 3rd Brigade Combat Team, 10th Mountain Division, during combat operations against an armed enemy in Kunar Province, Afghanistan, on September 8, 2009. On that morning, more than 60 well-armed, well-positioned enemy fighters ambushed Captain Swenson's combat team as it moved on foot into the village of Ganjgal for a meeting with village elders. As the enemy unleashed a barrage of rocket-propelled grenades, mortar and machine gun fire, Captain Swenson immediately returned fire and coordinated and directed the response of his Afghan border police, while simultaneously calling in suppressive artillery fire and aviation support. After the enemy effectively flanked the coalition forces, Captain Swenson repeatedly called for smoke to cover the withdrawal of the forward elements. Surrounded on 3 sides by enemy forces inflicting effective and accurate fire, Captain Swenson coordinated air assets, indirect fire support, and medical evacuation helicopter support to follow for the evacuation of the wounded. Captain Swenson ignored enemy radio transmissions demanding surrender and maneuvered uncovered to render medical aid to a wounded fellow soldier. Captain Swenson stopped administering aid long enough to throw a grenade at approaching enemy forces before assisting with moving the soldier for air evacuation. With complete disregard for his own safety, Captain Swenson unhesitatingly led a team in an unarmored vehicle into the kill zone, exposing himself to enemy fire on at least 2 occasions to recover the wounded and search for 4 missing comrades. After using aviation support to mark locations of fallen and wounded comrades, it became clear that ground recovery of the fallen was required due to heavy enemy fire on helicopter landing zones. Captain Swenson's team returned to the kill zone another time in a Humvee. Captain Swenson voluntarily exited that vehicle, exposing himself to enemy fire to locate and recover 3 fallen Marines and 1 fallen Navy corpsman. His exceptional leadership and stout resistance against the enemy during 6 hours of continuous fighting rallied his teammates and effectively disrupted the enemy's assault. Captain William D Swenson's extraordinary heroism and selflessness above and beyond the call of duty are in keeping with the highest traditions of military service and reflect great credit upon himself, Task Force Phoenix, 1st Battalion, 32nd Infantry Regiment, 3rd Brigade Combat Team, 10th Mountain Division, and the United States Army. Because of his actions, it is believed that William saved more than a dozen Afghan lives, as well as the recovery of the 3 fallen Marines and 1 Navy corpsman. He was also very open with his feelings, which criticized senior officers for not sending fire support during the battle. He made these feelings known in an after-action report investigation and had been recommended for the Medal of Honor by a battalion commander in December of 2009. Many accusations were made by both the military and the press when the paperwork for the recommendation was lost, which caused a delay in the process. Some say it was conveniently lost due to William's feelings, but it was determined that the recommendation was simply lost in the Army's email system. In Dakota Meyer's book, Into the Fire, a first-hand account of the most extraordinary battle in the Afghan War, Dakota wrote that he wouldn't be alive today if it wasn't for William's actions, and through the urging of Marine Corps General John Allen, William's case was reopened in 2011. He left the Army in February of 2011 and later requested to return in October of 2013. William received the Medal of Honor from President Obama on the 15th of October 2013 in a ceremony at the White House, and in March of 2014 returned to active duty. William D Swenson was the first living officer to receive the Medal of Honor since the Vietnam War and is still currently serving. And that was a tale of honor. Thank you very, 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 very much for listening to Tales of Honor podcast. And hey, if you're still listening to this part, because I know some people may shut it off after the story because you know the deal, I'm going to tell you that if you like this podcast, that you need to go and leave a nice review and a rating wherever it is you listen to this podcast, and be sure to tell a friend. And then sometimes I say something witty like tell a police officer, tell your boss when he fires you, or something like that about the podcast, because it's the least that you could do. And you'd be right. That's what I would normally say. Today, I'm just going to say you can see more information on Facebook and Instagram and at talesofhonorpodcast.com. If you have any questions or comments, you can send them to talesofhonorpodcast@gmail.com, where you can also let me know if you're interested in being a sponsor and a partner of the show. Let me know. Drop me a line. Thank you very much, and until next time, I'm Christoph Ambrosch. Thanks for listening.